Yeah, good morning, everyone. US market yesterday saw a good bounce back. Uh, had hit a new high both closing also and intraday also. But futures are a bit soft, mainly on account of two large company has reported results after the market hour. That is Apple and Amazon. Both have reported results below expectations, and futures are soft on that account. And also, US GDP figure has come, which has come at 2% growth for this quarter, uh, as against expectation of around 2.8%. So that also has some impact on the futures of US market. In that line, Asian markets are also a bit soft, not majorly down, but marginal soft across the board. But what we are seeing in the commodity, they are a bit bouncing back. Yesterday we saw substantial decline, and then now we are seeing some bounce back. Oil has come back to 84.5. Yesterday it went near to around 82 and now it is back to 84.5, whereas aluminum is up by around 3% and copper is up by around 0.5% and steel is up by around 2% in China, whereas iron ore still continue its downward journey and is at down by around 3%. So overall, yesterday we saw Indian market also on settlement a major fall. So after such a big fall, quite possible that we may stabilize or may even bounce back today. So now I'll request technical team to take it from here.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good morning, all of you. See, yesterday we see the major breakdown in both index, in Sensex also and Nifty also, and close below psychological mark that 18,000 below. And we see yesterday's major selling pressure on all the index, metal, PSU Bank, all index trading in red side. So we expect today open a flattish note and remain a sideways and range bound between the market. Nifty has important support zone around the downside is 17,800, 17,770 for intraday. If Nifty break that level and close below that level, then we see the further selling pressure towards 17,700. And upside important hurdle for Nifty is 17,940. If Nifty break that level and sustain that above level, then we expect further momentum towards 18,400, 18,040, 18,100 in an upper side. Same Bank Nifty also break important levels, that is 40,000 below is close, and we see yesterday major pressure in Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty intraday support is 39 300, and is break that level, then we expect further selling pressure is 39,000 and below level. Upside resistance place around intraday 39 700 first for intraday, and is break that level, then we expect further momentum towards 40,000 plus level. So we expect both index trading in negative zone, and we expect some bounce back, but it's important to break the important upside resistance levels. If fail to break that level, then we again see selling pressure in higher level. Nifty Finance also trade below the important support zone, and we expect upside momentum is cap. That is next important resistance for Nifty Finance. 18,920 is the first important resistance for Nifty Finance. Support place at 18,570 at downside. Both and three index trading below the important support zone, and we expect some bounce back. But we closely watch that is break important resistance level and close above that. Then we expect further momentum. Otherwise, sell on rise. We can see the strategy. In stock specific, Cipla looks weak at current level. Break important averages, Cipla, and downside important support zone for Cipla is eight 870 860 at downside, and support resistant place around upside 907 908. You can keep watch this stock for intraday session. That's it for technical derivative I can carry.
Yeah, thank you, Vikas. Good morning, everyone. So, as per yesterday's derivative data, as we are mentioning from last many days, that Nifty is holding a strong support at 17,950, and below that, we will directly see 17,800 level. In yesterday's trading session, same scenario, we have seen that the Nifty came around 17,800 level. As per today's trading session, we are seeing that the selling pressure is likely to continue because of the OI positions. 3 month OI position where support was lying at 18,500. It got shifted downward towards 18,000 level. So we are expecting that the selling pressure is likely to increase it till the time again the support again the resistance is not getting shifted on the higher end from 18,000 to 18,200 to 18,300 level. So current scenario as per the OI positions and as per the FI position, we are seeing in last 15 to 20 days completely around 18 to 20,000 crore FIs are being have sold in the Indian market. So that is also the negative scenario. Till that time, we are seeing that the index option is not giving some supportive strength. Till that point of time, we are expecting that the selling pressure is likely to continue. The time when the index option we will see buying at that point of time, we will see strong hedging on the downward. Till that point of time, the market outlook would be a slight negative. From current scenario, we are seeing that the upper resistance for the Nifty for next 1 to 2 trading session would be 17,950 level, and on the down front, we are seeing the resistance support lies at 17,600 level. From 17,600, we expect some bounce back and recovery and short covering session again to be created in the market for fresh new positions only above 17,950. When it breaks or gets stable about that level, then only fresh position need to be created. As per stock specific, we are seeing that the NMDC, Bail, Persistent, Adani Port, this three counter looks very negative in intraday trading session. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take up Gian, I think, has a network issue. So I'll take up that. One of the IPO, that is Fino Payment Bank, is opening today. This is the first payment bank which is coming up for the IPO. The issue size is around 1,200 crore and market cap will be 4,800 crore, and the issue price is 577 on upper band. Payment bank, the difference is that they get earning from the services rather than interest income, because they are not allowed to lend. They can take deposit, that too in a limited way, but they can offer a lot of services. So that services, they do it to bottom of the pyramid customers, that is the very low end earning peoples. And the banking services are provided through Kirana stores and through the franchisee network. So these network bank has expanded very well in recent past, last 3 years, and now they have a network of around 750,000 these stores where they can provide their banking services. The banking services which they can provide are basically money transfer, then cash withdrawal from ATM, and all these basic services of opening, and all these services are chargeable at these end, wherein they also earn and they share it with the Kirana store as well. So it's in right now currently expansion mode, and last 2 years they were incurring losses, and this year the company has turned into profit. That is FY21, they had turned into profit. And being the business is service oriented, they don't need much capital for that business, and it's very asset light business model which they had developed. So we liked the business model what the payment bank is doing, and its large distribution network, and as such we had recommended this IPO. The share is offered at around 6 time their sales. Whereas the recent deal which has happened for Payment Bank, wherein Bharti Payment Bank share got changed, where the Kotak Bank was holding some shares in Airtel Payment Bank, and that got sold to Bharti at around 5.5 times sales, and Finopac is coming a bit premium to that because of its size and profitability. So overall looks very promising from a long-term perspective. The competitor will be Paytm Bank, Paytm Payment Bank, that is part of Paytm, and Bharti and a few other people. Here the main shareholders are ICICI Bank, then there is a FCA, that is Financial Corporation, and BPCL is also shareholder in this payment bank. So overall looks positive. We had recommended for subscription. Then GMM Pfaudler came up with the numbers, and numbers has shown good improvement. They had done good improvement in both Indian operation and even in international operations has also shown good operations. So Q&Q sales and EBITDA both grew by 15 and 20% respectively, and order book has also increased by 6%. So outlook is positive. Mahindra and Mahindra Finance, yeah.
Yeah, I can continue.
Yeah, okay, you can take, no problem.
Yeah, so Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services result was above expectation. Because of good recoveries, the gross NPS came down from 15.5% to 12.7%. This is in line with what management had guided last quarter, that they intend to bring it down to 8% by March quarter. So over next 2 quarters, the gross NPS should further come down. The provision this quarter there was that was a negative number because of, as I said, big recoveries from excess provisions that company had made in Q1. So expect a negative figure in second half also. So because of this, stock should remain like stock should outperform, and we are positive on this. Motilal Oswal result has improved after many quarters. We have seen it has been underperforming. However, this quarter the broking segment increased revenue by 19% quarter on quarter, which is one of the highest. But sustainability over here is a question mark. We are positive in the short term, but in the long term we are neutral. Aavas Financial result has improved mainly because of asset quality, which improved, and specifically the 1+ days past due has come down from 13% to 9%, which is a good improvement. So we are positive here. UTI AMC result improved. AUM growth was at 12% quarter on quarter, which is in line with Nippon Asset Management. Now within 4 listed AMCs, these two have been the fastest growing since last few quarters, and HDFC and Aditya Birla have lagged them. So within AMCs, we are positive on UTI and Nippon. AU Small Finance Bank result was above expectation because of improved asset quality performance. Gross NPA came down from 4.3 to 3.2%. Due to good recovery, so somewhat similar to what M&M Finance also witnessed. So we are seeing that vehicle financing companies are witnessing good recoveries, because of which their credit cost has come very low this quarter. Restructured loan was also flat quarter on quarter, whereas in case of all other financial companies, we have seen that has increased, and contingent provision has also increased in case of AU to 0.8%. So overall, we feel apart from what happened in last few months regarding the internal auditor resignation, couple of them resigned within a span of last 3-4 months. But if we put that thing aside, then the company looks to be on a very strong footing with loan growth also at 32% and good improvement in asset quality. We feel with time, once the market gains confidence, this stock will do very well going forward. RBL Bank result was below expectation. Asset quality deteriorated here as opposed to we have seen almost all other banks have shown improvement in asset quality. Slippage remained high at 8% levels. Again, this is actually even higher than many PSU banks. Restructured loans also remains high at 4% compared to just 1.5% for other private banks. So we feel stock will underperform in the short term, although management has guided that credit cost will come off sharply in Q3 and Q4, but we will wait for the actual result rather than guessing in this stock, because the track record has not been very good in terms of achieving guidance. So avoid RBL Bank. SBI Cards result was in line. On the positive side, there was good growth in card spends, which was at all-time highs. Also, advances growth quarter on quarter was 9%, which is very good. But on the negative side, NIMs continue to decline because of a change in business mix, where the revolvers, where the interest rates is very high, that their share is coming down. And also because of higher OPEX. So company has again gone back to OPEX mode to achieve, become aggressive and achieve higher growth in future. So because of this, profit came in line, but otherwise we feel operating performance going forward will improve. Also asset quality continued to improve. Restructured book continued to come down, and net NPS since last quarter has been at 0.9%. Which was the case pre-COVID also. So we feel stock will outperform from here on. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So Taro announced their results today morning. The results are declining, led by the pricing pressure in US, and also margins have contracted to multi-year lows. This is a subsidiary of Sun Pharma. However, we believe the impact on today's trade in Sun Pharma would not be much, because the street is quite positive on the performance of its specialty products, and the company is going to announce the results on 2nd November. So we don't, despite Taro contributing around 20-30% of the US revenues of Sun Pharma, we don't expect much impact in today's trade, and we expect that people would wait for Tuesday's result, which Sun Pharma would be announcing. Yesterday in the Lupin's con call, the company has said, or we got the idea that the margins and the earnings have now bottomed out from here, and from Q3 onwards, the company should see some improvement in the top line as well as the EBITDA margins. They have maintained their 16% guidance for this year and expecting 20% next year. So even next year onwards, they expect margins to improve. Other than that, GSFC announced their results, and that is Gujarat State Fertilizers, and results have improved in this quarter. Another company is GNFC, Gujarat Narmada Valley Fertilizers. Its result is declining, mainly because Q&Q margin in chemical business has declined. Westlife Development announced their results, and results were marginally below than expectation. The SSG came at 84% versus expectation of 94. Laurus Labs announced the results, and results were below expectations for this quarter. Yesterday also we saw the negative impact on the stock, and today also the con call is scheduled at 11 a.m. Of this, and we believe that company would guide for future. Although we are positive on this company from the long-term point of view. Marico announced their results, and results were mainly in line with the expectations, and this came during market hours. We saw the impact on this. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Cable Kirana has announced improved set of numbers for both on the revenue and the margin front. Subex has posted decline set of numbers. Although the revenue has improved 7.1% Q on Q, however, margins have declined and came in at 11.5% versus QOQ of 20.1%. Intellect Design Arena has posted improved set of numbers both on the revenue and the margin front. Transport Corporation of India has posted improved set of numbers both on the revenue and margin front, with revenue growing by 18.5% Q on Q, when margins have improved to 16.3% versus QOQ of 10.9%. Thank you.
I'll take up first.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah,
Continue.
Welspun Corp result has declined. The sales volume came at 180,000 ton versus 175,000 ton quarter on quarter. EBITDA per ton came at 7,939 per ton versus 9,426 per ton sequentially. The share is trading at EV by EBITDA of 4.5 times FY23. Ratnamani Metal and Tube Limited result was marginally below expectation. EBITDA came at 111 crores versus expectation of 122. Margin were also below expectation at 15.6% versus 16.9%. APL Apollo Tubes result was in line with expectation. Volume came at 0.43 million ton versus 0.37 million ton quarter on quarter. EBITDA per ton came at 5,200 per ton versus 6,828 per ton quarter on quarter. Margins came at 7.2% versus expectation of 7.8%. The share is trading at EV by EBITDA of 17.83 times FY23. Jindal Stainless Hisar Limited result has improved both on revenue and EBITDA front. Margins came at 14.7% versus 15% quarter on quarter. Prism Johnson result has also improved both on revenue and EBITDA front. Margins came at 12% versus 13% sequentially. Share is trading at EV by EBITDA of 8.6 times FY23 earnings. Thank you.
Good morning. So JK Tyres announced its results. Results were in line with expectations. Revenue grew by 15% sequentially and 31% on a YOY basis. Though EBITDA margin declined to 10.5% from 10.7% on a sequential basis and 15.6% on a year-on-year basis. This was due to rising input costs. The company said that this higher cost can be partially offset with higher volumes and selective price increases. The sales in the replacement market grew considerably, and institutional sales saw an exponential growth. Exports also saw a growth of 35% during the quarter. The share is trading at a PE of 7.8 times FY23 EPS. Thank you.
Yeah, apart from that, DLF announced the results, and results were in line or better. Though the new sales came at 1,500 versus last quarter 1,000 crore and last year 850 crores, which is the trend in real estate sector. All the companies are showing similar type of growth. Similar was the trend with DLF. Apart from that, the company collections was one of the highest in this particular quarter, and that led to reduction in the debt by around 900 crores. So overall, DLF result was good, and outlook is positive for DLF. Apart from that, Tata Power also announced the result, and the result was below expectations, mainly on account of higher coal cost, which has dented the margin, and margin came lower. Apart from that, their renewal business is doing very well and consistently showing very good growth. And apart from that, even the charging station business, which is at nascent stage, is showing good sign of improvement with the investments. So the sales is driven by renewable and charging point, and they are doing well. So declining results may not have very large impact on the share price. Schaeffler Holding, Schaeffler Limited, that is the bearing company, has announced the result, and the results were ahead of expectations. Revenue and EBITDA, both revenue came higher than expected, and EBITDA margin has also came higher than expectations. So overall result was good. Share is trading at around 32 times PE, whereas SKF is trading at around 35 times. So there is some scope. And the company has also announced a stock split, so that will also support the prices. Cable Kiran also has announced the bonus 4:1, so that will support the prices. Then IRCTC government has announced that whatever the charges they have to they collect from the service charges for any ticket booking, they have to share 50% with the government. I think this is a very big negative development which has happened for IRCTC. One need to be careful. The share can correct substantially today, maybe 20-25% or even more also. The direct impact of this is at around on EPS is of around 25 rupees. But apart from 25 rupees direct impact, it will have a sentimental negative impact of government action. So it can have a big negative impact. So one need to be careful in this stock. Share can correct a large. Then CCL product came up with the numbers, and numbers were in line, but the management has indicated for the future that second half will be quite good. Management had earlier given guidance of around 10 to 15% growth, but now they had revised that the revenue growth will be over 15%. So for the second half, they need to grow over 18%, over 20%, then only they will be able to meet the 15% plus guidance in the second half. And even the margins are also likely to be more of a stable to improve because of their expansion, which has happened in Vietnam and which has started production recently. So that will contribute a large in this particular quarter. Apart from that, in the current quarter, they were not able to get MEIS, that is export incentive benefit, which will be there in the second half. So overall results in the second half is likely to be good. Share has corrected in recent past from high, and now it is at reasonable valuation of around 15 times FY23 earning. One can look to buy this stock at current price. Then apart from that, Vaibhav Global management has indicated that the overall growth, what they were indicating, that 15 to 17% revenue growth, which they are continuing to hold on, means they hold on the guidance, and the company is likely to show growth of around 15 to 17%. This quarter, the growth was 6%, and that's why the stock corrected yesterday. That was mainly because of people in the US and UK, where the majority of the sales of the company comes. People have moved out of the home and went for traveling and all, and went for offline purchasing than online purchasing, and that has impacted the performance of the Vaibhav Global. In October month, the company has already seen some improvement from the September level, and company expect that the overall growth in the for the year will be at anywhere between 15 to 17%. And if we consider the first half and second half, the second half should grow by around 18% year on year. Then only they will be able to achieve the 16% growth in the year on year perspective. So overall, the outlook from here for Vaibhav Global looks positive. So that's all from us. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.